I said, I want you to start a slow turn to the north. So the shoreline is going to be off your right side. And I want you to just kind of follow that. And just, I watched his heading on the radar scope, and I kept him pointed the right way. He was around 3,000 feet. And I said, what we're going to do is bring you to Palm Beach, big runway. We'll have emergency vehicles there for you, and it'll be a lot easier for you. And he's like, good idea. And he lined himself up with the runway perfectly without too much help from my part. And he just started aiming for it. Okay, all right, how's my altitude look? So I asked him, what do you see? He's like, I do see my altitude, but I don't see airspeed. And there was another passenger on board, 2 passengers and 1 pilot that was unconscious. And he said, I don't see the airspeed, but then somebody else said, yeah, you have it. And he must have pointed to the instrument, and he did see his airspeed. So I said, well, okay, well, we need to get you to slow down some. So I told him, just reduce your throttle and you'll start to descend and slow. So I was able to basically just get him to descend a few hundred feet for every mile as he got closer into the airport. And I, before that, or as he's on the way in, I started to talk to him about how the brakes would work. And I've never flown that plane, but I was 99% sure the brakes were going to be the same, which usually the brakes are on the top of the rudder pedals. You just put pressure on the top of the pedals and it would come to a stop when you're on the runway. So I kind of gave him a short lesson on that on the way in, just to kind of let him know what to expect. So as he's getting in closer, we're just talking about altitude. How am I looking? He was lined up with the runway, so he saw it. We had people in the tower watching it that could have like kind of relayed to us or something, but he was calm all the way in. How am I looking? I just said, your altitude's good. You're 1,000 feet. You're 600 feet. You're 300 feet. And then he disappeared off the radar scope. So I was kind of like, uh-oh, what do I do now? So I'm just like, hey, I don't see you anymore on my radar. I just want to make sure you're still there. Can you still hear me? Yeah, I still hear you. Okay, so the runway is going to be kind of narrow, but as you get in closer, it's going to get bigger. And that's when you're going to start to transition to that landing. So you want to start bringing your power back slowly and start looking towards the end of the runway, start pulling the control wheel back, and you'll come in for a landing. And then before I knew it, he said, I'm on the ground now. I'm on the ground now. What do you want me to do? Prior to me getting in there, Fort Pierce Tower played a really big part in helping out and locating. Like whoever was talking to the pilot, I'm assuming it might have been the local controller at Fort Pierce. He had a really huge part in getting that guy started. And then they were able to talk to us, and we were able to find them on radar. And then they basically like released their frequency to us to basically talk to the guy. And then I was brought into the room to talk to him. So I was kind of like the person who helped finish it, but there was a lot of work before me. But as I was working, I had my operations manager helping me, and we had the acting ATM helping me. He brought me 2 printouts of the cockpit, a glass cockpit, and then an analog gauge cockpit. And just my fellow workers to the side for anything I need. They were help coordinating and everything. No problem. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I was just doing my job, but it was just like on a higher level than you ever thought you had to do it. But yeah, I feel like from what I've heard of the audio from Fort Pierce Tower controller, like those first initial things, that sounded really good to me, what he was doing, being a pilot and listening to that, that, or just a passenger. That's something that guy did a lot of the legwork to get him headed the right way. And I'm sure other people in the tower were helping too. It's a very small tower. It's usually only like 2 people up there. We've never had anything like that. We've been really busy with a lot of different things. We've had the presidential TFR for several years. But yesterday, just like when somebody just drops that bomb on you that you're not expecting, like, here's the situation. It was just like, whoa, I felt like I was in a movie, and everybody really just like, without even, they were willing, a lot of times we're always worried about when's our next break, or, we joke around and stuff, but everybody just like wasn't thinking about not working. They just wanted to like participate, or how can I help? And everybody just came out of the offices to try to do what they could do to help or assist any kind of way.